All right, Latin students, we are ready for wheelock chapter 17, the relative pronouns. So on the screen now you can see the relative pronouns. So these are what are used in a sentence where we have where you want to refer to something in a relative clause, in a dependent clause. So the dog which was in the yard was brown. So that relative clause, which was in the yard, it's a separate grammatical clause from the rest of the sentence. And here are the forms. So in the masculine, qui, cuius, cui, quem, quo. And then the masculine plural, qui, quorum, quibus, quos, quibus. The feminine, quae, cuius, cui, quam, qua. And in the plural, quae, quorum, quibus, quas, quibus. And then the neuter, quod, cuius, cui, quod, quo. Quae, quorum, quibus, quae, quibus. The ones that usually give people problems are the neuter plural and the nominative and the accusative. When you see that quae, your mind will often go right to the feminine. But remember, quae in the neuter, in nominative and accusative. Don't forget that that's how those are spelled. So in wheelock, now again, it's I know we've got different books. Mine is on page 140, chapter 17, but I'm looking for the examples that go 1, diligo puellum quae ex Italia venit, so that's what I'll be referring to. So in that first one, diligo puellum quae ex Italia venit, I love the girl who came out of Italy. So notice, quae is in the nominative because its case needs to be how it's being used in its own clause. So quae is singular and feminine because it refers to the girl, but it's nominative because in its own clause, it's the subject of the verb, who came out of Italy. As opposed to in the next sentence, homo de quo decebas est amicus charis, the man about whom you were speaking. So in that clause, it's being spoken about. It's being governed by the preposition de. De takes the ablative, so it has to be in the ablative. It's masculine and singular because it refers back to homo. But homo is nominative, of course, because in its own clause, it's serving as the subject. Homo est amicus charis. The man is a dear friend. Quo is though the object of a preposition, so it's in the ablative. So a relative pronoun agrees with its antecedent in gender and number, but it takes its case from its use in its own clause. So again, 3. Puella cui librum dat est fortunata. The girl to whom he gave the book is fortunate. Okay. Puer cuius patrum iuabamus est fortis. The boy whose father, the boy of whom, that genitive, we have special pronouns for the genitive. Well, it's time to do my calendar there. Okay. Let's, yeah, for sure. Oh boy, exciting stuff. There are my forms. So sorry about that. So cuius is of whom with the genitive, but of course we have special words for of whom, whose, or of him, his. So that's how those work. All right, you get the idea. Let's take a look at the vocabulary. Libellus is a little book. Of course, the relative pronouns, qui, quae, quod. Caecus is blind. Nice normal adjective with 3 terminations. Lewis is light, easy. Out means or, so out is either or. Cito is quickly. Quoque is an adverb meaning also or to. Admitto, admittera, admissi, admissum, to admit, receive, or let in. Quepi, quepisa, queptum is to begin. It's a defective verb used in the perfect system only. So it'll only have perfect forms that will be translated as a present. Cupio, cupera, cupivi, cupitum, to desire, to wish, to long for. Deleo, delera, delevi, deletum, to destroy or wipe out. Desidero, desiderare, desideravi, desideratum, to desire or long for. Incipio, incipere, incapi, inceptum, to begin. Navigo, nice normal one of the first conjugation. Navigo, navigare, navigavi, navigatum. So o, are, avi, atum, those normal endings. Neglego, again, is normal for the third conjugation. Neglego, neglegera, neglexi, neglectum. So o, era, exi, ectum. And recito, again, is normal for the first conjugation. So o, are, avi, atum. Recito, recitare, recitavi, recitatum. Right, we're going to take a look at sentence 4. Incipimus veritatem intellegere, quae mentes nostras semper regere debet, et sine qua valere non possumus. Okay, so our normal way of looking at things is to find a verb, but now we've kind of got a new step, and that is to kind of, as we go, kind of mark out different clauses. And so we're going to be looking for things that are going to begin separate clauses. Well, relative pronouns, or commas, or in this case both, usually start their own clauses. So as I'm looking at this one, so it starts with quae, and I'm looking along at the word semper regere debet et sine qua. Qua, there's another relative. And here's the word and. So that's starting a new clause. So that's all one clause. Et sine qua valere, that's all going to be a different clause. And then, we'll have to see, does possumus go with this clause, or is it picking up another clause? But we're still going to start with our, generally the way of doing things is find a verb. Well, we've got a verb right at the beginning. Incipimus, we begin. Present, indicative, active, and so forth. We begin, and that takes a infinitive to complete it, a complementary infinitive. We begin to understand the truth. Right? So truth, veritatem, is accusative. We begin to understand the truth. There's our first clause. We were able to figure it out. Just looking at the first clause, only 3 words. We begin to understand the truth. Now, in the second clause, we're going to start our process all over again with find the verb, the main verb of this clause. Debit. He, she, it must. Must what? That also takes an infinitive. Must regere. Must rule. Okay. Is there a nominative to go with it? Yes, quae. The relative pronoun. Quae is nominative. Nominative, feminine, singular. Which must rule. And then an accusative for this clause. Do we have an accusative? Yes. Mentes nostras. So we end up with which must always, semper, which must always rule our minds. And now we do it all over again for the next clause. Where's the verb in the next clause? Possumus. We are able, in this case we are not able. That also takes a complementary infinitive. We are not able to be well, to succeed, to flourish, valere. We are not able to, we'll call it flourish here. 2, do we have a nominative? Well, no, because it's the word we. So, and do we have an accusative? No, we just had a complementary infinitive. So just taking the rest of it, we have et sine qua, and without which, we are not able to flourish. So putting it all together. Oh dear. Putting it all together. So put this down here, and then at the beginning we had what? We begin to understand the truth, which must always rule our minds and without which we are not able to flourish. So now we need to get into the habit of looking for different clauses and going through our translation steps for each clause. So again, one thing that's going to mark a clause is a relative pronoun, which will usually have a comma. And the other thing that's going to mark a clause is a conjunction like and or but. Okay. So that does it for chapter 17. No quiz this week. Simply study, enjoy your Holy Week and your Easter holidays. And Lord willing, we will be back in action. What will that date be? March 31st will be our next normal class session at 3 o'clock, Lord willing. Bye now.